Welcome back to the manor. Julian McBain here, and today we are hunting caborias, which are basically little crab things. And we're gonna see how we do against these. I'm just curious to see how fast the challenge goes up and what it's like fighting underwater for a prolonged period, because it's been a while. They make some weird noises. You know what we're also going to do is we are going to pop a loot pill. Boy, there's some weird sounds under here. So, okay, I haven't done a whole lot of underwater combat, so I definitely wanted to see what it's like. But as we get going, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you will get copies of my ebooks, The Modern Entropian, and Personal Finance for Gamers. Plus, you'll get exclusive episodes and podcasts. My podcast will be re-releasing likely next weekend. I was hoping to do it this weekend, but life got in the way. So I'm looking to launch a new channel. I'll have my podcast on there, and I will be migrating those episodes that are on this channel to that channel sometime as expeditiously as possible. I'm going to find out YouTube's rules on that and how to make it work so I don't screw anything up. So new episodes will automatically be uploaded there. Older episodes will migrate there as soon as I figure out the YouTube rules over migrating videos. So there you go, and there you have it, as my late grandmother used to say. I gotta say, I think the fastest way to confuse anybody is to explain the U.S. system of government. Because I was talking to someone in Bonnie's stream, and I actually, our chatter kind of ended up in paragraphs, which is great for discussion, but time and place, and it was a big part of it's on my fault because I have a nasty habit. I don't like dropping things that are like that really interest me. And I love the uniqueness of the U.S. system of government and just how strange it is compared to other forms of government because, you know, as I said in the podcast about the intro to the U.S. form of government, the root of power, the root of sovereignty in the U.S. are the states, whereas a place like Germany, it's the federal government. And the person I was speaking to, Janaf37 on Bonnie's stream, was very confused by this and thought it was rather backward. And I can totally see where they were coming from. It does seem very strange to, well, frankly, probably to anyone who's from outside the U.S. But I found it interesting to have that juxtaposition of discussion where they could not really fathom why we would have a system set up the way it is, whereas to us here in the U.S., it's just normal life, right? It's absolutely normal that a governor of a state can ignore the federal government if they so choose. And in a place like Germany, it's just not allowed. So I find that to be a very interesting juxtaposition, a very interesting conceptual difference between places. Although it occurs to me the phrase root of sovereignty might be my own coining, and I might want to explain that if we get to, because I'm sure they're going to look up root of sovereignty and be like, I can't find this anywhere now that I've mentioned it. And I'm like, oh crap, did I come up with that? I mean, it's to describe something legit, but the phraseology itself might be me. Might have to look that up. I can't remember because I've been researching it so long. I've been researching like governing systems and sovereignty, fons honorum, things of that nature for 20 years. It's actually how I got into micronationalism, the study of micronationalism, things like Sealand and the Principality of Hutt River, which I think has pretty much disappeared since the royals died, but I'm not entirely sure. That's a very confusing case, and they might actually even have more legitimacy than Sealand because Australia done fucked that one up. They recognized it as a sovereign place and then realized they couldn't. No take-backs. Whoops. They're basically crabs. Correction, they're basically hermit crabs. And they're noisy. I can't believe the amount of noise under here. Part of the reason I put the auto loot pill on is it's just too much of a pain to try to collect loot underwater. I took out a couple of them just to kind of see what I'd be dealing with. And yeah. No, I think part of my... it's both to my benefit and to my detriment that I enjoy conversations like that so much. Because you can have some great conversations, but on the same notion, some people just aren't into that type of conversation. And some people just don't have the spoons for it when you bring it up. Or it requires significant research to really have good discussion points. And I mean, I've been studying this shit forever, so most of the time I've got a pretty good grasp of what I'm talking about, even if I can't remember the reference material because I've been studying it for so long. But on the plus side, it does allow me to have that wealth of knowledge. So yeah, no, that was fun. And I said, you know, by the end of it, I'm like, wait a second, we're like dominating body stream. We should, I'm like, maybe sometime we can like sit down with a Guinness and chat about this, which is probably never going to happen. Which is a shame because I love talking about these things. You know, it's actually part of the reason I got into politics to begin with, is because I actually think that we have a cool system of government, if any government system could be considered cool, a unique system of government. And I think that the more I study it, the more similarities rather than differences I find between various forms of government. I'm not talking economic systems, I'm talking government systems. And I want to be very careful about that because a lot of people will conflate governing systems and economic systems. But anyway, now that I've wasted you the first 10 minutes of the video on that, Jelly Baby Texture Blueprint. I wish they would show you Mocha Jelly. Okay. That's a unique name. That is a unique name. I just wanted to take the opportunity to get underwater and see what loot was like. Most of it's going to be basic drops, but like this Cabroria hide, what's the market value? Holy buckets! Is that actually better than... No, it's not, but it's still really stupid good. Like the hide markup on Toulan is insane. You could just sit here and farm, dump the cheap stuff, hold on to the good stuff, and probably make all your money back without much concern. Plus, you're drumming up all of the codex missions. Totally unexpected. And that's rank 3. I have noticed that I keep forgetting just how fast early ranks go. And I mean, I think each of these is worth like, yeah, it's worth like a chunk of meta. So there would almost be a serious benefit to like jumping out there and killing off like the first 10 levels of every codex mission. Claw meat? Rotten Calboria clam. That's lovely. Rotten Calboria clam can be refined into Calboria... Oh, it's refinable. It's got decent markup. I wonder what the cord is worth. Because that would be an interesting thing to find out. Well, it's been the last time I hunted these things, I think it was these things. It was back before Codex came out. It was the last time I visited Toulan. I think there's a video of it. So it might be almost 2 years now. But the markup on Toulan's specialty items is huge. If you're willing to grind this shit out, because it is a grind. Like, I've been working for months on Kafaz. Well, yeah, essentially 2 months I've been hunting Kafaz. And I almost have enough for a single sale of Kafazhide. It is a long-ass grind, but you do get all of the ancillary stuff to go with it. The Codex missions, the experience. They're not especially expensive to hunt. So you can pretty much hunt them all month long and not run out of ped. And in the end, I think that a lot of the things that you're going to actually... If you're looking to make money in Entropia universe hunting, which is damn near impossible, the way you do it is by hunting things that you know drop a fairly steady flow of high markup, rarer mats. Because crafters are going to want them, and they're going to pay top dollar for them or top ped for them. And you're still getting your kicks. It's not going to be from doing high-end, high-level hunting. When you're high-level hunting, especially when you're hunting like at the edge of your ability, you're burning ped for skills. You just have to accept that. Like, I'm down here, I'm hunting level 0 to level, 6 mobs. Which I can easily get equipment for well within my level to where I could 1 or 2 shot them using my sword, right? But I'm farming them for... Well, I'm farming them for the Codex. But I can also use this later to farm them for high markup mats. And because people like to hunt at the edge of their ability... It's a game. In the end, this is a game. And that's why I play. To me, it's a game. But I happen to be someone who enjoys the act of farming in a video game. Which I know sounds really strange, but I'm the guy who hunted for almost a year to get a couple of pets for WoW. Because I wanted to give one to the girl I was dating. That was a nice long relationship, actually. That was almost 6 years. Well, it was 5.5. So, to me, this is just like chill time. I'll sit here and I'll farm for a couple hours. I'll put something up on another laptop where I'm watching something. Like, I think one of the things I'm going to do here, I've been watching a lot of like Charisma on Command. He does a huge thing on Game of Thrones where he's discussing relationships and power dynamics and the personalities of them. Charisma on Command is actually a great channel to watch, especially if you're trying to refine your ability to talk with folks. Because I always joke around that Charisma is my dump stat, which I know is technically not true, or if it was true, I've managed to grind out that bitch pretty well. But I still need work. And so I use the information from that to refine what I do. Like one of the things I'm going to try. And it's something that I think I'm fairly comfortable with, but I'm not. Sometimes I have to consciously think of it. Is being comfortable in silence. Which I know. You're like, well, if you are comfortable in silence, why the hell are you doing a YouTube video? Well, no, I also enjoy doing this, but the whole when being with folks talking, just sitting there in silence and listening. And it's something I practice when I'm with family and I'm with friends. And I didn't do it consciously. It was just, if I don't have something to contribute, I'll just listen, right? But there's also a skill involved in using that to be better at charisma. Because when you do speak, and you don't speak often, people are more likely, especially if you can speak with some amount of force, like you're not going to get run over by everyone else talking. And I'm not talking shouting, it's just like when you speak, it's because it's so rare, people actually listen to you. Because you not only speak rarely, you do so with authority or... I'm like tapping my chest with my hand. And I don't know the proper word for it, but that's what I'm thinking of. It's like a certain, not a boom. There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom. For lack of a better term, it's with a certain amount of, it's with a certain power. It's with a certain authority behind it. And so that's one of the things I'm going to try to cultivate, is learning how to utilize that strategic silence to be a better, one, to be a better listener, but more importantly, to, when I do speak, people will listen. Which I think I do fairly well, but there are times I feel like I'm Tyrion Lannister, and there are other times I feel like I'm Quark. And it all depends on who I'm dealing with and what we're talking about. And given the choice, I would move as far away from Quark and as close to Tyrion Lannister as I can. For those of you who are not familiar with Game of Thrones, or who are familiar but can't remember which one is which, Tyrion is the dwarf, Tywin is the father. Tyrion is a good man of noble spirit, kind of. Tywin is a tyrant who just really understands power dynamics. There's a lot that I can actually learn from him on bearing and stature and understanding when to speak and not. But Tywin rules through fear, and I don't like the idea of people fearing me in quite the way people fear Tywin. Although, I got to admit, there's something tempting about that. I feel like the Tyrion way is better. It's less asshole. So, I have to admit, it's not as difficult hunting these guys as I thought it would be. I really thought it would be harder. Mostly, not because I thought they would be tough, but I thought that the underwater dynamic would make it really tough for me to navigate. And while the limited visibility does make it harder for me to locate mobs, I do have a functional radar, which is really nice to have. But as you can see, like, they disappear until I hover over them. So that makes things interesting. Just so everyone's aware, I'm using a Tartarus. If you're wondering how I'm moving up and down so readily and so fluidly. The Tartarus has a thumb toggle that you can actually use for regular movement, but I have actually keyed it into my up and down like a collective on a helicopter. I mostly use it for flight, but the dive and surface movements in aquatic movement in this game are actually the same. And let's see what the seafloor looks like. The fact that we don't need to breathe, I've always found to be very, very interesting, because non-water mobs will drown, but we won't. And I don't know if it's just assumed we have rebreathers. I mean, like, obviously this could theoretically have breathing equipment in it, right? But that doesn't universally make it the case. And yet I can be under here forever. That being said, I'm beginning to wonder if having all of these underwater mobs is the justification for not having fishing. Because why would you fish for them? Why would you dive into the water and hunt things if you're just going to fish for them? Rank 4. And in half an hour, no less. Got some unique loot, too. Oh, we got an alpha. And everything was blue for him. He's got, like, snail eyes. I'm pretty sure these things are hermit crabs. Can you eat a hermit crab? I don't. I'm sure you technically can eat a hermit crab, but Would you want to is the question. Most people keep them around for pets. Unless they're the Fallout hermit crabs, which literally fill whole truck box truck back ends. The box of a box truck. Those things are insane. I ran into one of those and I was like, nope, 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 nope. Nope, and right the fuck out of there. The noise these things put out is really interesting. There we go. I got a shell. Wait. Holy buckets, that's huge. Any market value? Wow. Significant market value. I wonder if they did that deliberately when they made Toulan, make it so that the creature-specific mats are all on the rarer side to drive up the markup and make it more valuable, or just to make sure that people would want to hunt them because they can offload their shit. Which both of them actually work really well to attract people to Toulan, if you think about it. Oh, we're coming up to the dam, okay. Like, where are we? More clams. Why do they describe it as... Is this like from its stomach? Or is it supposed to be the claw? Because it looks like claw meat. What do you all think? It looks like claw meat to me. I like that it can be refined, and it tells you it can be refined. I don't know. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. I guess it's a little late for that. I'll just chalk it up to COVID fatigue. It's already 8 p.m. Good Lord. That's okay, though. It's only Saturday. Got a whole nother day. Well, it's Sunday now when this comes out, but I mean when I'm recording this. But, yeah, so we got about 8 minutes left. We're going to see... I just wanted to see how far we could get, because I'd never really hunted underwater for any length of time. I mean, you got the ripper snappers on Calypso. We'll probably cut this one short just a little bit early. Swim my sorry ass back to shore. Go to the island. Actually, we should probably make way for the village. We'll hunt along the way. Probably shouldn't have worn armor for this, but that's okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll just float on back. This is one thing that's always been an issue here, is the way that directions go when you're underwater. Like, your body does not seem to know to change direction very well. It's long been... Holy shit, were we deep. That's what she said. It just, like, notice how I'm all cockeyed? But I'm still traveling this direction. Like, I don't look like I'm traveling straight. Because I'm not. So, we actually went way further out than I thought we did. So, okay. I'm not going to make you watch me swim the last half kilometer. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time. So, make sure you subscribe. And as always, everyone, I really appreciate all of your support. And a huge shout out to my patrons, Red Kryptonite, Jay Lambertson, and Spectrum 3900 for all of your support. And we will see you in the next one.